Hello, I'm wbz-tv meteorologist Barry Burbank. Have your forecast for the next several days. And yeah, we've had 20 days in Boston so far this season, over 90. Pretty shocking to me. Never ever expected to get up to that level, that is for sure. Far exceeded my expectations this year. And to imagine it's going to be rivaling what we had 2 years ago when we were going out of what we go out of an El Nino situation. Many times that can be a very hot summer when we are exiting an El Nino. So this year it's not an El Nino, but nevertheless we've got that. One of the culprits is the interesting sea surface temperature profile out of the Atlantic. What I'm trying to say is we're not done with the 90-degree days because more hot and humid weather is coming back. That's in the headlines here. But it is not going to be as extreme as last week. Nevertheless, it's going to be hot for the first week of September, no question about that, because over the last, well, since 1894, we've only had 4 heat waves in September. But I don't think we get a heat wave this time around because we're not going to string 3 days together of 90 degrees to make it an official heat wave, but it's going to be hot enough. And not much rain seems to be in the works this week either. We've went through a lot of wet weather in the last few weeks, then we've kind of gone into a dry spell here. There could be a few scattered boomers coming up Tuesday and again on Thursday, and if all goes well, refreshing air will be returning here for next weekend. If another great big high pressure center builds into the Canadian Maritimes, we'll get some of that cooler and drier air moving in. But it should be a pleasant afternoon this afternoon as it goes to the upper 70s and almost 80 at beach locations. But with that onshore breeze, it'll probably stop the temperature from rising much above the upper 70s to 80 and may drop back just a tad, but not a strong cold sea breeze. I mean, the water temperatures are in the 70s, so you can't have a really cold sea breeze under these conditions. It looks like farther inland will be up around 86 or 87. The south coast will be closer to 80 or just under this afternoon. And this hot weather in the 90s, around 91 to 93 in St. Louis and Nashville corridor, that's going to be pressing northeast, so that's the kind of air we will have here tomorrow and Tuesday. So that's something to look forward to for some folks and other folks to really be upset about because we've had enough of it. Hazy, hot, and humid. Triple H coming this way, and we'll really start to feel humidity more so late this afternoon as it gets more humid and muggier and stickier overnight tonight. Through the day, there is going to be a little bit of patchy cloudiness crossing the region. The sunniest weather overall should be southeastern Massachusetts this afternoon. The cloudiest weather farther and farther north and west, but even there will be a few breaks of sun. But the risk of showers is almost minimal here in New England, almost zero, with a few in New York State trying to trickle into Vermont by late in the day. Now, it gets cloudier overnight tonight. We may start with a lot of cloudiness tomorrow morning, and then it gradually burns off to yield quite a bit of sunshine. An isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out tomorrow, but I think for the most part, most of us will not see one. And then on Tuesday, we may get a couple of showers or storms in the area. Beach weather should be just fine this afternoon, and many of the beaches will be bright and sunny, especially southeastern Mass, the South Shore, the Cape. Some of the North Shore beaches may see a few patches of clouds. The water is still pretty warm. The tide is high at 4:55 this afternoon, and the waves you'll be seeing running about 1 to 2 feet as reported by the buoys this morning, so not big waves out there to deal with. We're looking at the dew point trend. It's definitely trending upwards as we go into the high zone. Anything above 65 is high, and that'll be late tonight, definitely tomorrow. Maxing out on Tuesday, very humid, but during the day, a little front comes in, maybe kicks off a couple of thunderstorms and tries to drop the humidity just a little bit. It may drop just a tiny bit more on Wednesday, but even that is still classified as high humidity. And then on Thursday, we'll max right back up to dew point around 72 or 73. And then hopefully after that, on Friday and next weekend, it drops right back into the 50s, and that's when we have some more refreshing air. Tonight it gets muggier, 68 to 70 for lows. Tomorrow, this is what it's going to feel like. This is not what it's going to be on the thermometer, but this is what it'll feel like based upon the combination of temperature and humidity. So it'll feel like the mid and upper 90s in much of the region except the south coast and the Cape. So consequently, the National Weather Service is likely to issue a heat advisory for parts of the region for tomorrow, and that would be issued by late today. Meantime, the Jetstream pattern shows a lot of cool air building in Canada, but we're just plain hot here as the Jetstream changes the configuration a little bit over the week. As we get to the end of the week, look what happens. The jet starts to come down like this, so it's going to allow some of that cool air to build in from Canada as a great big high builds to our north. So that brings us to the Cape and the Islands forecast. It looks like we're in for some fine weather to conclude the holiday weekend and the summer season for the most part. Lakes and region Lakes region and mountainous locations up north, we'll see just a slight chance of an isolated shower late today, a better chance of a shower thunderstorm in the northern mountains tomorrow. And it looks like, as we look ahead, eye on the tropics, we're looking at this system off the southeast of Miami. That might move into the Gulf of Mexico, and if it has a chance at all of developing, it would become Gordon, the next tropical cyclone, but that's definitely not etched in stone. As we watch Florence, which has winds of 60 miles an hour, now way out in the Atlantic, closer to the Cape Verde Islands, but Florence is going to move off to the northwest, so not be concerned about that, at least at this point. There's your 7 days ahead. It's a hot week ahead, but not matching the heat and humidity levels of last week. And then next weekend, let's hope for it changes and turns nice and dry and comfortable again. Well, that's it for now. Have a nice, happy, and safe rest of the holiday weekend.